Okay, basically gonna do a quick video on perspective. This is basically inspired by my man P Brain, because I think he has one of the best videos on perspective. This is such a basic, obvious reality that we live on a flat plane that people talk about proof and evidence. It's getting to be comical to me because this is the easiest thing to recognize. So it's elementary. Like Sherlock Holmes said, it's elementary because this is basic, day-to-day living 101. The surface you roam on is level. We know that. Every surface we roam on is level. So we just have to regain understanding of our vision, a more mature understanding of how our eyes work. And so, yes, this is the basic point every flat earther understands. Vanishing point, which some would call, or just say, well, that's the curve. But of course it's not the curve. The vanishing point is how your eyes work. And keep in mind these bars they have here, because this will actually help you see how the sun moves. How these bars converge. So even though this is the same path, this is a straight path, to our eyes it converges. You have to remember this before we go through some footage. And this is the horizon. It's not a curve. This is how your eyes work, because you can't see infinitely. The horizon rises to your eye level. So with trains, I find it interesting. People will say the ship example because it goes over the water. But I think a better example would be to use the railroad example, the train, because, okay, if you're saying this train is going over the curve, we have to talk to the railroad companies and ask them, do they have curved tracks? The answer is no. So if that's the curve, they would have to have curved tracks. Now I can hear the Globe Arthur typing somewhere, fool, there are curved tracks. They saw they turn. Like, no. They don't have curved tracks to fit the curvature of the so-called globe, because it's not a globe. So this is, of course, what we're talking about when we get into sunrise and sunset. Of course, those are just words. What's really happening is the sun and the moon are rotating around the earth. It's locally illuminating. And of course, it's just these spread out in this way. The rays spread out in such a manner because it's close. So we're looking at this footage here, and this is from a guy, Gabriel. Subscribe to him, go check out his video, give him another view. But basically, and I'm sure he's probably not a flat earther, because we're just looking at it. We're not really thinking. We're taught to look at it as a globe. But think about it. Like in this picture here, the sun is right above the earth and it's moving back. It's moving around that path, and of course to us it's going out of view. It's traveling down this. So it's going. And also notice how the clouds, remember clouds, they say water curves. Of course water doesn't curve. Neither do clouds. If you observe the clouds, you'll always notice that they're flat. Especially now, since we're looking at the flat earth, when you're driving on the highway, just look at the clouds, and they're always flat. That's another clear proof. You always see the dark side facing, of course, the ground. It's always a flat face of clouds. It's perfectly flat. And it doesn't curve, of course. It just keeps going until it converges at the vanishing point. It's flat. That's how the clouds look. And again, sun high above right here. That was 93 million miles away. This whole scene would be evenly lit. But it's not, because it's locally illuminating. Again, locally illuminating. This whole scene would be lit if it were 93 million miles away. There's just no way around it. If there's sunlight, Terminator line is a Terminator line. There will be sunlight wherever there's sunlight. I mean, it will be total parallel light. It wouldn't be indicative of something that's very close and locally illuminated. And here's another good video. It's like, look at the clouds. They're flat. They move flat. And they don't curve. There's no curving clouds. And the sun is moving down. It's moving out of view. So this would be like, say you were standing, say here or whatever. I mean, within this one little point where the mouse is pointed, within the dot in that center of this circle, yellow circle, this will be your field of vision. Because you can't see infinitely. This is all you see. So, if you're standing here and the sun is going out of your view, then this is what it would look like as it moves out of your view. As it moves, see, it's hovering over. It's just going further down and converging at this point. It's moving. We're not spinning. Clearly it's moving. If somebody stood next to you, you watching this, they tell you that that's not moving, we're moving, come on, you wouldn't believe them. If it wasn't for schooling, you wouldn't believe them. That's moving. See, time-lapse proves it all. It's moving. It's moving further down. Of course, the flat clouds, horizon, the vanishing point is converging. It's moving down, down. It's moving further down, out of view. Like, this is so obvious that there's really no debate. Who would debate this footage, Like, no. This is clear-cut proof that the sun's moving over the face of the earth. So, it makes total sense to assume the earth to be flat. That's where they got us, this ridicule factor. They got it. If you can ridicule something, people won't look into it because it's ridiculous. So, at a young age, they got us to ridicule this fact. But, clearly we're talking about a flat earth, a plane, a level surface, clouds flat. They're converging. See the flat clouds, the flat water converging at the horizon. Vanishing point. Remember, that's how your vision works. Because again, all you can see is like, again, because globe earth is always, oh, you're so small, you're too small to see the curve. Or no, you are small, but you're too small to see infinitely. That's why you see the sun go out of view. It's not us spinning around some mythical axis. It's clear. So I just wanted to point that out. Let's take another look at footage that we always see, but of course we're not looking at it with our total natural senses because we think on a globe. So yeah, that thing's moving. The sun is moving and converging at the vanishing point with the flat clouds below.